Hello and welcome back. Out for a cast today. Nice day, but the rain's coming and the wind has come westerly, but the rest of the week's to be really cold, like 8 degrees maximum daytime temperature, sort of cold, you know. So this is the second week in September, and there might be some videos of last week, and as you would have seen, I had no wind, bright sun, and fairly warm, you know, less than ideal conditions. And it looks like it's going straight from that to too cold. But I think the rain's to come fairly soon, and it does look like it's on its way, you know. So I come out today, cast on here. You might have seen this loch before. It's one of those lochs. Again, it's another fairly dear loch. If you get a fish for the day, you've done well, but there is a chance of a fish for a day, unlike some of the other lochs I fish where you have to expect to fish for maybe a week for a fish, you know. So this one, I'm in with a chance of a fish, so I'll keep the fingers crossed. I have one of John McLean's loch shrimps and a Barvis crippler on. A good combination, and maybe a wee bit big because I'm on this sheltered bank, you know, but again, we'll see. And I'm just going to work my way along this bank, probably try and keep moving. The loch is high, but even at that, it falls away quite steeply, just not very far out there, you know. So I mean, I'm able to fish over water that you would say probably holds fish. There's a few wee rocks and stuff in this bit that I'm just trying to avoid here. And it does mean it often holds fish, you know, in around the rocks, but it can also mean that you end up hooked on them. But sure. Once we get along a bit, we'll also find that we've quite a high bank, quite close to the loch, so that will cause us a few problems. Might be a bit of grubbing about in the heather looking for my flies. But sure, part of the fun, you know. So I've moved along a few more wee steps. I have quite a high bank behind me now, so that's a wee bit inconvenient, but I'll see what I get away with. I have no doubt I'll be in the hedge picking the flies out at some point. Just a feature of this loch. There we go. First clip into the bank. Oh. However, we'll keep the fingers crossed, maybe we'll get a fish, you know. Tell you, when the sun goes in though, the temperature doesn't half drop. Although the wind has come more westerly, it also seems to have come more cold. This loch is reputed to fish well at night. rather than during the day. So maybe I would have been better waiting until it got dark, coming in the evening. But I just fancied my day out, you know. There we go. Oh, into a wee tree. Well, look. See, this never happens on the internet. And then, of course, my other fly will get caught into a million other things while I'm trying to pick this one out of the tree. I don't know where it is. Ah, here it is, I think. Yeah. So it's wrapped around all sorts of interesting ways. So let's see if the other fly has got caught in the meantime. Oh, well, a lucky break. I got away with that. Bring my line back. There we go. I think I'll be visiting that tree a few more times, you know. Me and it will come to be on quite good terms. Seem to be a lot of aeroplanes about today. Hearing them all going over me. Don't know whether it's the military exercise people or whether it's just normal commercial flights or going over Lewis today, as sometimes happens. I changed the Barvis Crippler for a Digby's Demon, just to give it a throw. Something a wee bit smaller, darker, don't know, less showy maybe. Just see if that works for me, you know. Oh, here we are, airplane as well. Might be there's a wee flight goes down to Barra or Benbecula or I don't know, somewhere from Stornoway, and it usually skips along close to here. So you often do hear it come by. Missed it. That's two I've missed. Well, I've just started after lunch. In fact, that was the first cast after lunch. And I missed a fish. I changed the point fly from the Digby's Demon to, well, what I'm jokingly calling the Grace Grabber. I don't know what it's actually called. It was a variation that John did on a Donegal Blue. So, and it looks like I've only just started fishing it. He's only just tied them up, but it looks like a cracking fly for a sea trout. So I'm sort of jokingly referring to them as grass grabbers at the minute, but I don't actually know what John calls them or if he's given them a name or any of that stuff. So both the fish that I've moved today have just been on the edge of the drop-off pretty much, which is interesting. I don't know what the structure's like on this loch beyond that drop-off, you know, and it seems to drop away there. I don't know if you can see it, but just where my rod tip is pretty much, seems to drop away. And it looks like it goes down to 3 or 4 feet anyhow. But whether I suspect the loch has at least some really very deep parts. Well, when I say very deep, I mean 30, 40 feet, you know. But I don't know what it drops away to where I'm fishing here, for example. No idea. Yeah. Oh, another wee step or two. But it having big deep sections kind of fits with the reports that it fishes well at night, because my experience is lochs with big deep holes, you often find that the fish, you know, the bigger fish move out of them at night. I guess the bigger fish just lie low during the day and move out at night, you know. That's sort of been my thinking anyhow, on lochs with like big deep holes, you know. And I've got to say, lochs with big deep holes, there's a few that I know of, and they're all said to fish better at night, so might support that, you know. Oh, well, he's keen anyhow. Keen to take to the air. And of a good size for my dinner if I can get him onto the bank. So there we go. Lovely wee trout, and I think this one's going to stay for my dinner, so that'll be my plan. So I've just landed a nice wee dinner-sized fish on the loch shrimp, one of John McClean's tyings that often seem to get me a fish on Dure lochs, you know. So I think that is quite successful, really. And this loch, one fish for a day is good going. So I'm quite pleased with that. Plus I have moved another 2 that I just failed to hook. So that's a bit of a success, I think. So I have the wee fish in my bag for my dinner, because I was keen to get a wee fish for my dinner, you know, fancy some trout. Or even for my sandwiches, you know, for my lunch. We'll see how that goes. So if you're going to find yourself in one of those difficult lochs, you should get in touch with John and see if he can provide you with some of his loch shrimps. Because they certainly, on those lochs where you don't get many fish, can't expect to get a fish at all maybe, the loch shrimp, when I've put it on, has certainly performed for me, you know. Now, I need to go ashore a wee bit here because it gets a wee bit deeper. But I'm going to come along a bit. I know I could wear waders. I'm also not frightened to get my feet wet, you know. I could just wade right in. But I don't really need to. And I don't think there's any advantage. So I'll just stay here. So why don't we sit down for a minute, tied a Watson's fancy on the point, and came back for a quick cast in this corner, and then probably I'll turn around and start working my way back. The rain that I thought was going to come didn't really come. I got a few wee spits of rain and that was it. And at the minute the wind has, I think, gone back a wee bit. So I don't know if that's good or bad. Usually it's bad. Few wee flies about here. But I suppose this wee spot is also maybe just a wee bit sheltered with it being on the corner here, you know. Another wee aeroplane. Again, I think this is the one that goes down to Benbecula or Barra or somewhere. It kind of flies very low, you know, and if you're down here, it quite often comes over you in the morning and again in the afternoon. So I think I'm approaching the time to turn around and head back, sort of down the bank a bit, back in the direction of the car. And my intention is to have a few casts as I go along on the way back. I also want to get rid of this waterproof coat, since the rain, well, pretty much didn't come. Oh, there's the wee airplane. It's going to fly straight over my head. So yeah, it's not going to rain, I don't want to be wearing all this Gore-Tex stuff because you get wet and uncomfortable and cold in no time in it, you know. So let's get the layers off and move along a bit, let the airplane go past. Just another wee cast on the way back to the car. I seem to be losing the wind just at the minute. It's coming and going today though. So I don't have as much a wave here, just a wee ripple maybe. But that's okay as well because I'll give this a wee run along and then that'll put me back near the car, you know. There may one more wee spot I'll have a cast before I call it quits. Seems to be a good plan. I'm still on the loch shrimp and the Watson's Fancy, so no change there. And I'll just keep bopping along here. Another one that took to the air. Kinda. Oh, he's on the Watson's Fancy. Feisty though. Oh. I'm going to try and beach him here. My net's over there, so really, don't have much choice. There we go. Just beached him, and again, I'll be keeping this one for my dinner. So that wee fish came in the Watson's Fancy. Again, hit it pretty hard, you know. Decent enough fish. Gotta be over a pound in them, I'm sure. Again, an ideal size for taking home, you know. So I'm just having a few last wee casts, just to round out the afternoon, and then I'll be away home. And so far, I've avoided getting wet. If the deep rain comes tonight, might get a day of salmon tomorrow. The weather conditions look like they're going to be too cold for trout, but again, you don't know this, you know. But certainly, it looks like daytime temperatures are going to be like 8 degrees, with a fairly stiff northerly sort of wind, and that doesn't encourage me much to go to trout, you know. I mean, there's always a chance, but it's a pretty small chance. But I'm pleased to get 2 fish out of here today. it's a fairly dear loch. You can sort of, normally if you're willing to flog it, you can be in with a chance of a fish, you know, but wouldn't be a loch you'd come to expecting loads of fish by any means. So I'm fairly pleased with the result so far, and I'll just give it a few wee casts along here before calling it quits.